G'day, Simon and James at a perfectly sunny Southeast Cars and Coffee. It is absolutely packed today. Special day for us today. We're actually collecting items for the fire victims up in LA. So look in your local papers, look in your local website, see where you can give to this important charity as well. Mate, busy day, lots of stuff rolling in. What have you seen?
It is a huge day here this morning. I think we have more Ford GTs in one place than ever recorded before.
Yeah.
We have 9 of them all together, 6 from the guys at Bowden Auto House, and then another collector that brought 3 of his own personal cars, which is just mental. We have a ton of GT3 RSs. It's just a great day all in all.
Yeah, there's that Supra that rolled in, I think you said was actually a SEMA build.
Yep.
Wide body, absolutely amazing. As soon as I saw it, I could tell it was something really, really special. Hey, don't forget, if you come to Southeast Cars and Coffee, please remember, respect our rules. No spinning, no revving, no burnouts. That includes on the streets of San Clemente and getting on and off those freeways, mate. There's a ton to see. Let's go for a walk and check some stuff out.
Let's do it. So I think this morning we've got more Ford GTs in one place than ever before recorded, at least at Southeast Cars and Coffee. Starting off with this beautiful Mark II newer Ford GT, followed by over 8 other ones. So 9 total Ford GTs, 1 Mark II, and then the rest are all these Mark 1s, 05s, 06s. Beautiful white one. A black one. This one belongs to Josh from Bowden Auto House, has a Whipple on it, the Heritage Edition and the red. It's absolutely stunning. Here we have a very pretty brand new 718 Spider RS. This thing is absolutely stunning. I didn't realize when I walked up to it initially, I thought it was just kind of like a silver, but it's actually a beautiful like greenish gray color. Tons of exposed carbon on this car, the beautiful lightweight wheels as well with those carbon ceramic brakes. This one's interesting, it actually has the comfort seats in it, but still a very, very pretty car nonetheless. I feel like this is also almost close to like a Millennium Jade than anything else, but absolutely knocked it out of the park. Here we have a beautiful God's Red 992 GT3 RS. I think we've had this one here a couple times before, but this one still caught my eye today. One of my absolute favorite parts about it are the color match accents on the inside. You can see the perforated little insert on the inside of the seat there, the red seat belts, the red stitching as well. He's just done such a good job with this car. Very, very cool. And here we have another very pretty darkish green 991.2 GT3 Touring. This thing is spec'd absolutely exquisitely. Absolutely love the exterior on this car. I thought it was a wrap when I walked up to it, but it is actually that paint. And then on the inside, the houndstooth interior, of course with a 6-speed manual as well, silver wheels, yellow brakes. I mean, this thing is absolutely beautiful. Bravo. Here we have a beautiful 2019 Aventador SVJ in the Overflow Exotic Pro. This thing just pulled in. It is absolutely crazy. It has a Gentani exhaust. Shoots the craziest flames. This thing is absolutely wild. Love the spec on it too. Beautiful kind of like, it's almost like a china gray exterior. Some really clean HREs on there. Very, very nice indeed. Beautiful spec. Here is a very interesting 296 spec. I've never seen one in this color before. I think this is Viola Hong Kong, the beautiful metallic purple that Ferrari offers. I've only ever seen this on a piece in an SF90, but I have to say I think it suits the 296 really, really well with these kind of more subtle lines on it. The stripe down the middle is interesting. Not sure how I feel about it, but very, very cool nonetheless. And then here we have the remainder of the 4 GTs. The rest of them are over there in the main exotics row, and then here we have the rest in the Overflow. Absolutely beautiful. You have the yin and yang specs here, the blue with the white stripe and the white with the blue stripe, and then down the end, a very, very pretty solid blue with silver HREs. Let's have a look at this thing. Absolutely stunning. I do love the stripe delete on this car. I think it makes it look so menacing. And then the fitment on these wheels from HRE is just absolutely killer. Very, very cool.
This beautiful Aston Martin rolled in. It is just such a pretty car. It was here a couple of weeks ago as well. Look at how clean this thing is under the engine, in the engine bay. It's just absolutely wonderful. Such a pretty car as well. The wonderful interior with that piping in there. The lines of this car are so beautiful. I love Astons of this era. They are such an iconic vehicle. They're just beautiful in every direction. The wheels are nice, the steering wheel is nice. Like everything, every angle of this car is nice. And if you come around to the front, dare I say, I've always thought that front end was very Mustang-ish. The question was, did Aston take it from Ford or did Ford take it from Aston? very clean Carmen gear here. Look at this thing. This is absolutely beautiful. All been trimmed out. I love the way they've used a trim style that looks like it would have been sort of period correct when they put the Volkswagen symbols in it. Wood dash in there, simple instrumentation, and then back to that little air-cooled engine in the back here. Great little car, underrated too, right? So I was just walking past and met Ryan here, and we are looking at his little 240Z, which is crazy. I heard it start up before, and it sounds like a bit of an animal. But what caught my eye was these side draft carburetors. I've seen Webers before and I've seen Solex before, but I've never seen OER. And you were saying that these are kind of a hybrid of both, right?
Exactly, yes. So it's more of the premise of trying to improve upon the old style of carburetors where they're trying to make something new out of it.
Yep.
And with it, they can basically fix the problems of the old stuff that they couldn't do with intellectual property stuff.
Yeah,
so
right.
Now that is more expired, this OER company, which used to be SK back in the mid-80s, and then they dissolved, changed to OER, and then they took their old carb design, which was a Mikuni ripoff, basically,
Yep.
and they changed them to Weber-style jets, which are like press-in main and air correctors and press-in idle jets, whereas the Mikunis are screw-in, so that you have to pull them all the way out,
Right.
and have a screwdriver small enough to actually pull them out. And with that, it allows for a lot more on-the-fly adjustment, and with it, it actually includes an external float adjustment
Yep.
and an external accelerator pump adjustment, which on a Weber carb, it would be extremely impossible to actually fine-tune the accelerator pumps because you would have to change the pump jets themselves,
Well-
and those are extremely expensive.
And the other problem about Webers has always been with Webers is you can get it running perfectly, and if there is a change in barometric pressure, temperature, they're out of tune.
Exactly.
Because they try and compromise between those two things, whereas now you've got the ability of adjusting
Yes.
both. Well, this is a cool little build. I mean, it feels like there's a bit of Japanese influence in the build.
Exactly, a lot bit.
Yeah, a lot of Japanese influence. Right, nice seats, battery sitting in there next to you, the roll cage in there. I still love the 240Zs. I'll show my age. I remember when they were new, and actually I had a Scalextric slot car, which actually I think was a 280 from memory, but I love these cars when they came out.
Wow.
And it's a great little car, mate. Thank you for bringing it out. Big welcome to the guys from Hillbank Motor Corporation as our newest sponsors of South OC Cars and Coffee. Hillbank, of course, are known for these amazing Cobra replicas, amongst other things. They've also got the Corvettes, they've also got the Shelby Daytonas, a whole lot of stuff. But let's talk about these two Cobras here this morning, because they are both really, really special. Now, very, very different. This is a Mark III, but notice what's under the hood. This is a modern Coyote motor. So if you said, hey, I want something that drives like an old school Cobra, but I want it to feel more like a modern car in terms of reliability, in terms of not having sort of that gasoline smell that you can get from classic cars, then this is the sort of car that you would want. Now, if you want to go something a little bit more old school, then this over here, Mark III, can be seen that this has more of, obviously, that Roush standard style V8. So 427 in this thing, which is, of course, was the thing that the Shelby was known for. So an amazing car, side pipes, all the usual things in this car. This is getting back to something a little more classic. Now, if you're after something with a little more show, have a look at this over here. So once again, another Mark III. Beautiful car, but have a look under the hood of this. So in this particular case, we are running a newer Coyote motor, but in this case it's running fuel injection on the top. So the great thing about these cars is you can basically have it built however you want. I've driven one, for example, with a Coyote with a Whipple on it. They also have a slab side with a 289, for example, if you want something more like a traditional sports car. Absolutely incredible cars. Make sure to get onto their website and check them out. Great to have these guys on as sponsors. We've been really close to the guys from Superperformance and Hillbank for many years, but great to have them here at the show.
I'm going mainstream, flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Yeah, I'm going mainstream, flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. I'm going mainstream, mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Yeah. I'm going mainstream. Damn. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream.
What is this? I hear the crowd say. Is it a hearse? No, it is not. It is an Aussie Ford XB panel van. Now in Australia we had three major manufacturers. We had Chrysler, we had Holden, that was General Motors, and we had Ford Australia. And each of those manufacturers had a platform for a car that then they made into different variants of car. For example, the XB, you could get it as a base sedan right through to a long wheelbase Fairlane and LTD, which then would be turned also into versions of utilities, or like you would call ranchitos here. And then we had the panel van, which you can see here, which was used for tradespeople or also adopted by the surf community as their surf van. So this particular car, XB by Ford, if the front end looks familiar or the side looks familiar, it's because this is what effectively was used by Mad Max as the Interceptor, the same base car in the coupe version, which was a beautiful looking car, pulls big money these days. So as I was a young kid, one of my best friends, Derek, had something of this same era. They came in a base model. It had a 6-cylinder in it. There was a couple of different versions of the 6-cylinder. The larger of the two was a 250. But then they also came with a 302 version as well. The performance GT cars you could actually get with a 351 as well. So there was a XB Coupe, like the Mad Max car, which you could actually get with a 351 in there as well, with a top-loaded gearbox. So this is the panel van that Australian tradespeople would use back in the early 70s, or a derivative by Chrysler or a derivative by Holden. This is nearly as an original Land Rover as you are going to see. 59, you were saying? 1959. Now, one of the telltales that this is really early is see where the headlights are right there. In later years, they actually pull the headlights out in the front. The theory with putting them in the front like that was to actually protect them if you were going through any scrub or trees or bush. Great theory, but they realised they didn't work as well, so they moved them outwards. Now, these early Land Rovers, make no mistake, they were not a luxury SUV like the later Defenders, as they were called. This was a utilitarian vehicle built for really two purposes, agricultural and military. It was supposed to serve the purpose of everything from helping the army do what they needed to do, but also to help farmers move stuff around on their farm as well. They are so basic and they are so simplistic. Just interesting old cars. Leaf springs on all corners. They are not fun to drive. If you looked at this and said, oh, that'd be a fun weekend drive, you'd have to understand that it literally is like driving a 1950s tractor. There's nothing elegant or sophisticated about the drive. But if you want something that's agricultural and original, this is the thing. They had little funny quirks, like if you drove them too much and turned in one direction, you could actually wind the diff up. And the only way you could unwind the loading on the diff was actually to drive them backwards, believe it or not, to get rid of that loading on the diff. How do I know that? I had a friend at high school, primary school actually, whose family had one of these, and they actually drove it all the way around Australia. Now at the time, didn't think much of that because that's the sort of thing people would have driven around Australia. But now I look at this, at the thought of getting in this and driving thousands and thousands of miles, you'd want to be a committed person. Or what do you agree? Be committed? Yeah. Yeah, it would beat you up. But great to see. Love these old Land Rovers. They are such an iconic piece of motoring history. just got stopped over here by Jim, who's been a previous Car of the Week winner. I don't know how many times. Jim, how many times have you won Car of the Week? 4? I think it's more than 4. I think it's more than 4. Anyway, he said, how often do you see 3 Studebakers in a row at the same place? And it's honestly true. We talked about this little one a few weeks ago when it was here, and apparently that was on National Studebaker Day. Who knew that there was such a thing as National Studebaker Day? But anyway, great little car. And then next to it, we got a 4-door here, and then next to it, we have a coupe over here. Now, Studebaker, they're an interesting car because the design cues were never like the other manufacturers at the time. They were a little bit more advanced in a lot of respect. They were trying to do things that were, you know, a little bit more quirky. Dare I say, their influences feel almost like a French designer went to do US cars with some of the things they did, but they still got the fins on the back and those sort of things. But obviously, long gone, a brand that we're not going to see ever revived as, you know, I can't see anybody ever reviving the name to do an electric version of a Studebaker, but it's great to see these cars because they really are time capsules of a past when there were so many other manufacturers that since, you know, gone by the wayside. Pontiac gone, Oldsmobile gone, Hudson gone. All of these brands of car manufacturers, Studebaker gone, Rambler gone, we'll never ever see again, which is kind of sad. So it's important that when we see these cars, we stop, we look at them, we appreciate them because they're an important part of history. That is a cool old hot rod, and it's got a 348 in it, which is a motor was also used as a 409. Great looking old thing. Isn't that good to see? You know, at first glance, you could think this is one of the new Suzuki Jimnys just because the condition on the thing is so good. But in fact, it is an older, original Jimny. You can tell by looking underneath that it's one of the older ones. Now, James just came back from the Tokyo Auto Salon in Japan, and he was showing me that there is a huge trend over there for people to get the Jimnys and literally turn them into what look like, believe it or not, the Brabus G-Wagons. So there's a whole thing, body kits, fronts, the whole bit, turning a Suzuki into what looks like a Brabus G-Wagon. This little thing is super clean. It looks really good. The wheels look good. It's right-hand drive, so it's obviously a Japanese import. The dash and everything. I mean, this thing looks like it's just come off the lot. I can't see. It looks like it's got 16,000 miles on it, so it's really low miles little car. I love seeing things like this. It's like, I mean, it's like a time capsule. It really is. Ton of work on this Supra. Check this thing out. I mean, it looks super clean, but the telltale, look at the size of the turbo on this thing. It's absolutely massive. Just a ton of cool stuff going on under here. Fuel pressure regulator over there, catch can going on over here, wastegate over here, decent coil adjustment on the top of those, or should I say camber adjustment on the top of those strut towers there. It's a good looking build in every direction. I bet this thing's making some serious horsepower. This is a super clean C5 Corvette. I really like the C5. I think the lines are still simplistic and elegant, and it's not overstyled. It's got that beautiful sort of slender line and very clean body lines. I love the world wheels on this. It looks really clean. But there's something about this era of Corvette. When we come around to the back, it's just those round taillights again, and then the bumper just sort of sweeps in underneath. I got to say, of all the Corvettes in that sort of C5, 6, 7 and now 8, I really still like how clean, how simplistic that this car is. I mean, it's a really pretty looking car. Another super clean car. Look at this E55. This thing looks clean. Love the wheels, love the stance on it in the weeds. Such a great car, very capable car as well. So supercharged V8 in these things. It looks good, doesn't it? It looks good, the stance is good. It's just a really clean looking car that, once again, people sometimes forget about or underestimate. This is a great car. Plenty of get up and go, and it looks good too.
That is it for a very great South OC Cars and Coffee. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Please remember, if you are coming to our event, respect our rules: no rubbing, no speeding, no burnouts. That includes on the property, going through the streets of San Clemente, and then getting on and off those freeways. I want to say a massive thank you to all the sponsors. We have the Bracketeer Way Marketing, Mazda McGuire's, iAccent Attorneys, Next Level Auto Protection, Sierra Ineos Grenadier, Hillbank Motor Corporation, Beckwith Financial, Coldwell Banker Realty, Josh the Auto Buyer, Happy Jewelers, and then of course Carbontastic as well. I also want to say a massive thank you to all the volunteers that help us put on this event each and every week. We could not do it without you guys. Remember, if you want to become a volunteer, hit us up on Instagram at South OC Cars and Coffee Merch, where we handle all the volunteer rostering, and then while you're over there, check out some of our new hats, hoodies, t-shirts, stickers, everything that you guys could possibly want from South OC Cars and Coffee Merch. If you are volunteering, you get to bring your car in before 8:30, and Ruby's down and provides a free coffee and donut for everyone helping us out.
Yeah, big thank you to Ruby's for doing that, and also feeding the masses as well, and a big thank you to the outlets at San Clemente for allowing us to be here. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We will see you back here next week for another South OC Cars and Coffee.
Thank you guys.